What's going on, guys? In the Works Media here, and I'm going to be bringing you a bonus installment of the Predator series. And this is actually not going to be the last one because I do have one more story after this one. These two aren't really as exciting as the other ones. That's why I never really planned on telling them, but you guys seem to be interested in that, so I think I'm going to go ahead and tell them just because they're kind of amusing. But anyways, we're back where it all began on the array. And if you remember the first Predator story with Kevin, we were using the M14 on the array. And then we had then we talked about the perverted mailman, where we visited Crisis with the stoner, and finally we went over to the jungle with the stakeout. So we're going back to the array, and we're going to check out the FAL. But you might notice something different. I am playing on the PS3. Oddly enough, I don't have an Xbox anymore, so I've been borrowing a PS3 and been playing a lot of PS3 different games lately on the PS3, and it's a little bit different. I don't know. I like the PS3 controller. It feels a lot easier to shoot with. But if you might notice how laggy this game is, like the theater mode looked so bad when I recorded it. But I really just wanted to keep this game, so I was like, all right, we'll just keep it and we'll just deal with the fact that it looks like I'm shooting way behind people. So, anyways, I wanted to address a few things before we got into the story because this isn't a very long story. But a few questions people had. One concern is some people thought that it was wrong that we took money from the perverted mailman. Well, let me tell you this much, guys. He offered us the money straight up. This was not what we wanted to do. Basically, what happened is he escaped from the hotel and we didn't know where he was, and we were trying desperately to get back in contact with the man. We felt like we had lost him basically, so we thought by him doing the money thing we would be able to find out where he was. Unfortunately, the reason why he put it at the Buffalo Wild Wings, he actually didn't tell us where he put the money until after the fact. So that's why we couldn't, confront him face to face again. So I know a lot of people were concerned with the extortion aspect of that, and a lot of people were wondering why is it illegal to do this? Well, it's not illegal to do it. I mean, all you're doing is trolling him, but it is illegal to extort somebody, which is what you could say the money was. But luckily, to our defense, he offered us the money without us actually asking for it. So yeah, that's a few clarifications there. So yeah, this story we're gonna go back a little bit on this story. So if you remember, we were using the wouldyouhitthis.com thing. Well, it turns out that the original reason why we did it was to mess with a friend because we had this friend in college that nobody really liked. He was always like he was balding and everybody made fun of him. I mean, I kind of felt bad about it. He was kind of socially awkward, but he was just kind of a jerk. It was hard to feel bad for him, but he had this thing where he like would talk to younger girls. So we had this would you hit this profile, and the point of it was to mess with the guy because one time one of my friends who is a girl, while we were over at his apartment, because he was one of my friend's roommates as well, because we really weren't close with this guy. I mean, he kind of isolated himself from everybody. But she was on his computer while we were over there for a party, and she found a folder with I mean, it wasn't like a risque folder, but it was like pictures of younger girls, and it was kind of creepy to be honest. It was pretty gross. So she deleted that, and he got really mad about it. And not only did she delete that, she threw away some of his Victoria's Secret magazine. So needless to say, he was mad because I don't know why he was looking at Victoria's Secret to get his jollies, but apparently he was. And I, this guy, he was a scumbag. I mean, that's all there is to it. So she deleted that folder, and he was super mad about it. So we're like, you know what, we're gonna get this guy. So with all our experience with the pervert thing, we had this profile, and we knew he was on this site quite a bit. So we used the fake profile to kind of bait him into contacting this girl. And now the story we used with him is that we told him we were from Danville, and he bought it right. He bought it right up. Like he had no problem with accepting the fact that he was talking to a younger girl. And I don't know. He said some things that he never was risque. He never was like raunchy with us or anything like those pedophiles. Like he mostly just wanted to talk. Um, he seemed more interested in getting to know me than like actually meeting up. And right here we're gonna have to watch a replay of this. 'Cause this guy, Mr. Dirty Ian, is going to he's going to have a problem with sitting in corners. Let's watch the replay on this. As you can see, here I come running around the corner, and there he is to outplay me right there. So I got played there. Luckily, I'll get the last laugh on Mr. Ian. But anyways, back to the story. He had really no interest in meeting up with us, which made us wonder if maybe he was just toying around with us, and we really didn't want him to find out we were doing this. So we were getting kind of nervous that maybe he already knew But we told him we were from this girl who basically lived about 15 minutes away from Champaign, which is the same. We're in the same area. I mean, this is like around the same time. I mean, I think it had become spring at this point, so it was real nice out. And we were at base. We were playing softball one day, like, and he comes up to us and he's like, "Yeah, I've been talking to this girl online, blah blah blah." And we're like, "How old is she?" And he just kind of goes silent and he doesn't say anything. And I instantly I know this is who he's got to be talking about, because I mean, who else in the world is going to be? So we continue to mess with him a little bit. Like we're talking to him on AIM, and it gets to the point where we're running out of things to tell him because he doesn't seem to ever want to meet. Apparently, like he he just is looking for companionship, I guess. Because I mean, I start to feel kind of bad, but at the same time, like I realize that he might know that we're trying to trap him. So I don't know. We can never get him to the point where he's ready to talk to us about meeting up. So there's no way we can ever incriminate the guy. I mean, he's an acquaintance of ours. I guess you would call him a friend. And basically what happens is one of our other friends starts to feel guilty about it, and he kind of spills the beans, but he doesn't actually tell him what happened. All he kind of says is it's like, yeah, I think what's her face might be a trick, and we're like, great. So now he thinks it. So he starts to mess around with us, and eventually he figures out that it's probably us because we've had a history of messing with people on when this would you hit this. So he basically confronts us. And when he asked me, he asked me to my face. And, I don't really know this guy that well. I mean, I guess he's really not a friend. He's more of, like I said, an acquaintance. And I just straight flat out denied it. But eventually he finds out that it was us, and he just basically goes ballistic. He blocks us. He proceeds to block us all on AIM. He quits our fantasy football league because of it. And I don't know. It made things really awkward for the rest of the year. I remember every time we came over there after parties, uh, it was really weird because he would always just go up into his room. He would never like associate with us. So that made the rest of the year kind of awkward. But I think he was a little bit upset that he was kind of starting to get attached to this girl. Which oh, you see our boy Dirty Ian just got a spy plane. Let's check in on Dirty Ian. Let's see what Dirty Ian's up to. Yep. Looks like he's poning the noobs. He's out there rushing pretty hard. But anyways, back to what we were doing. I hope you guys enjoyed the Campo Vision. So yeah, he's pretty mad at us. Apparently, he was starting to get attached to this fictional girl, which I found kind of comical because we weren't really talking we weren't really like deep talkers with him, because he never really pushed the envelope like Kevin did, or maybe even the perverted mailman. He was always just satisfied with just having a normal conversation. And it was really frustrating because I felt like we had him so close, but we just couldn't get him. Because like I said, this guy was kind of a jerk. Nobody really liked him. He's always that friend that nobody likes, but at the same respect, everybody always still hangs out with him. So anyways, that was the story on that. I know it wasn't exciting as the last one, but it was still kind of amusing that you would get to the point where you're so close to trapping one of your friends in this predator web we had going. It I can never look at him the same after that, to be honest, because it was fairly obvious that he eventually did want to have some sort of contact with this girl. Like, he had even talked about maybe coming to one of her fictional volleyball games, but he never actually confirmed it, so we never actually got to bust him. I don't know if he really would have gone through with it, because it would have been, I could see him probably trying to beat us up, and that probably would have ended pretty poorly. So anyways, yeah, that's how we tricked one of our own into doing it. It may not have been as epic as some of the other ones, but it was still interesting. It's one of the few successes we've had. And the final story will actually be telling the tale of our one failure in this all. I don't want to spoil the story. I mean, the story itself is kind of interesting, but we do actually fail. He kind of reverse gets us, I guess you could say. Because I guess he gets on to us. But I'll tell you guys the story of the fail next time, and that will be the last episode of To Catch a Predator. But perhaps I could do an episode where I talk about some of our techniques and strategies. I think that would be kind of interesting, just to do a little recap of it all, since you guys seem pretty interested in the whole Predator complex that I have going on here. So I hope you guys have a good day. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.